What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Nets Republic. It's the kids Sever the Bond. We are indeed on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so please tell a Nets fan to subscribe to the channel. Today we are going over the third point of view as far as the story that we are telling, the narrative that we are going on as far as the timeline for what happened in Media Day. Because all of Media Day was just recapping one general storyline. It was just attacked from three different angles. Again, we will not be discussing how Sean Marks and Steve Nash feel about it because we don't care. We're here to talk about the three major players here. Yesterday we talked about Kyrie Irving. The day before we talked about Kevin Durant. Today we are covering this from Ben Simmons' point of view. Now Ben Simmons' point of view is not quite as deep and as vast as the other two, so we're going to kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent, but for the most part I will try to stay on subject. So Ben Simmons was asked on Media Day on Monday, which I really should have rewatched his video, but he gave such short answers. He was asked, how did he feel about the trade? What did it mean to him? Ben Simmons basically brushed it off and says, it doesn't matter. I'm here in Brooklyn. Who cares? Cool. They asked him if he was feeling any better. Did he have any hesitations as far as his health goes, both mentally and physically? Are you ready to go? Ben Simmons says, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, that answers that. So again, we're just going up and down the checklist of what's good with him. We kind of already talked about what he said on the JJ Redick podcast thing. So he addressed it a little bit and basically confirmed the same thing, that he was supposed to play in Game 4, which is a little strange because we were down 3-0. So what exactly Ben Simmons would have done that significantly to have saved us, I'm not quite sure. But he was scheduled to play, but he woke up in the morning and he wasn't able to move, which is messed up, and I feel really bad for him. But he did confirm that that's what happened, so he was not able to play, but he was attempting to make his way back to try and offer some assistance in the playoffs. Didn't happen. We got swept. I don't believe Ben Simmons is the reason for us being swept, but it could have helped, I guess. Don't really know what we would have accomplished with him coming in Game 4, but is what it is. So he addressed that very briefly. A lot of his questions he really just answered with a one-word text. It's like if you're trying to send a paragraph over to someone and they send you back K. That's basically the energy that was being given by Ben Simmons. So there's not really much to go on. He says that he doesn't really care about what's going on with Kevin Durant and ownership and all that stuff. Doesn't really affect him. Didn't care about Kyrie Irving's contract. Doesn't really seem to affect him. In fact, it is my professional opinion that I feel like Ben Simmons sees everyone on the Nets as chess pieces. Now, that is not a negative. We're just about to get into a really interesting deep dive. A lot of people, I should be wearing the Ben 10 watch. Paid enough money for it, I really should be wearing it. I think Ben Simmons is going to disappoint a lot of you. I think he is, because I don't know what you all expect from him, but I don't believe he will display what everyone individually wants, right? Almost said Ben 10. Ben Simmons is going to be a pure point guard, right? He's going to go out there and be a pure point. Now, whether they have him at center or not, he will be running the team's offense. And I think there's going to be some of you who are expecting James Harden. I've seen a couple tweets, and I think y'all are expecting James Harden Part 2. And you'll need to understand that Ben Simmons is not a shooting guard. Ben Simmons is not going to go out there and drop 34 a night in conjunction with Kevin Durant and Kyrie and all of them. That's not what Ben Simmons is here to do. And I want to just go ahead and get this out of the way now, because we're going to be arguing about it during the season. So I just want to go ahead and put it out there now. Hopefully we can address it now so we don't have to argue about this later. Ben Simmons is a pure point guard, pass first. His job is to get everyone else involved and play defense. That's really it. Like, he'll score if he needs to. He'll score if it's a part of the offense or it's a fast break or something like that. But Ben Simmons is strictly the dude orchestrating the offense and playing defense. What I mean by I think he sees everyone as chess pieces is simply from the standpoint of when you have pass first point guards, they tend to look at everything as their weapons. It's like the Gundam example I did a lot of last year. You've got this super awesome Gundam, and it's got all of its weapons. It's got the beam saber. You feel me? It's got a little rifle joint, like there's like the shield, or maybe like a scythe or something like that. Like there's all sorts of weapons. You got the Gatling guns on the shoulders. Maybe it's got laser eyes or the shining, burning fingers or whatever. Like you've got all sorts of weapons that come with a Gundam. Ben Simmons is the pilot of the Gundam. No, we'll say that's Steve Nash. Steve Nash is the Gundam. No, hold on. Wait. I'm going to get this right. Steve Nash is the pilot. Ben Simmons is the Gundam. Now, so you can just go out there and be a gigantic robot and smash things, or you could use your weapons. Ben Simmons is the Gundam. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, the whole brigade are the weapons on the Gundam. If you are an intelligent Gundam pilot, you're going to go out there and use your weapons and not just go around punching and kicking. Unless that's what your Gundam does, but in general, you're going to use your weapons. And Ben Simmons, I don't believe, cares who's next to him as long as they can shoot. As long as you can shoot, as long as you are a functioning weapon, I don't think Ben Simmons cares who's next to him. When he's out there, he's in quarterback mode. He's got the ball. He's trying to see where people are at, set them up, hit up Claxton in the dunker spot or something like that. Like, you feel me? I don't think he specifically cares who's around him as much as he cares about the skill set of who's around him. So I think a lot of the shenanigans that we go back and forth with of, oh, is Kyrie going to be available? Does Kevin Durant absolutely want to be here or not? I don't think that matters to Ben Simmons. I think it's more so, what can these individuals do when they're on the court with me? And what are my offensive options, rather than who are the individuals next to me? It's what can they do? What are their abilities? That's what Ben Simmons cares about. So when there's nights where maybe Kyrie's having an off night, or maybe Kevin Durant's having an off night, or Joe Harris can't hit a three to save his life, which would normally occur in the playoffs, but we're just going to assume he'll be fine in the regular season. And we're going to be looking at Ben Simmons, and some of you are going to be screaming at your televisions saying, why is he not contributing? What are we paying him for? We're paying him to be a pass-first point guard and then play some defense. See, with James Harden, you got kind of the best of both worlds. He was allegedly supposed to score and be Chris Paul, right? That's not what Ben Simmons is. And I think when people say things like, this is a better fit than what Harden is, they're not speaking from the standpoint of the offensive production. They're speaking about it from the standpoint of, you've got an individual who understands, my job is to set people up for success. Not so much get his, set others up. And he'll score if he has to. The reason why I'm breaking this down, because some of you are looking at the camera, or, well, I'm looking at the camera. Some of you are looking upon me and saying, well, Sever, why are you breaking this very elementary basketball one-on-one thing down to me? It's because I promise you we're going to have this conversation again. There is more to basketball and more to someone's worth on the basketball court, if you will, or production is a better word. Someone's production on the basketball court. There's more than just scoring. For some individuals, I think people will be a little bit more lenient. Like if what was his name? If I forgot man's name. If Royce O'Neal is not averaging 15 points a game, I think we'll understand it because 3-and-D, right? That same logic has to be applied to Ben Simmons. We have to be impressed with the steals. We have to be impressed with the blocks. We have to be impressed by the rebounds. We have to be impressed by the assists. We have to be impressed by the hard screens. Him not taking stuff from the other team. Maybe getting a hard foul to get someone out of rhythm or something like that. Those are the things that we need to look to Ben Simmons for, because that's what he's on the team for. He is not here to get buckets with the big three. That's not... Honestly, I don't even consider it a big three anymore. It's just 7-Eleven and Ben Simmons is here. Because that's not his job. And I can just foresee already that we're going to be having some conflict in Nets world, because y'all are going to be concerned about how many points he's scoring. Think about it like this. How many points is he responsible for is what we need to be tracking. The offense that he creates by facilitating to others. When he's in the post, backing some poor innocent point guard down, we need to be happy at the fact that he kicks it out to Seth Curry for three instead of going for the and one himself in the post. Because that's what he's here for. And I think with that mentality of him being a utility belt type individual, or support character for my gamers out there, I think it's going to be very difficult to be disappointed with Ben Simmons' performance. Assuming you have the mentality where you have an understanding that even though he's a star, his worth is not offense. The same reason why people push Drew Holiday down the stairs and say, oh, well, he's blah, blah, blah. He's not this, he's not this, he's not that. You got to look at what we're valuing in the specific person here. Right? You got to look at how we're evaluating the individual. And I believe Ben Simmons wears that confidently on his sleeves and his shoulders. He understands that he's here to be the coach on the floor. He's here to facilitate the offense and lead the team on the court. And I think that's where his confidence comes from. I think that's why you see so much of a pushback when certain individuals ask things about a jump shot. That's not what he's here for. Be nice if he could hit one, but that's not what he's here for. So I hope in this video I have jumped in front of the proverbial bullet so we don't have to argue about this in a couple days. Because our first preseason game, I believe, is Monday. So when he goes out there and he only scores like 5 or 6 points, you have to promise me that we're going to focus on the assists and rebounds and all the other things he does, and not the scoring. If he gives us anything over 10, awesome. I'm only doing this because I've been covering basketball on YouTube for 8 years now. And in the past, there have been point guards where I have covered where people seem to be missing the point. No pun intended. But let me know your thoughts. How did you feel about Ben Simmons' lack of answers in media day? And how do you feel about his role on the team? I think strictly on some basketball type stuff, I do think he fits the hole that he's filling perfectly. I truly believe that. I think as long as there's an understanding by the coaching staff and the players around him of what his job is, and he continues to fulfill that role, it's going to be hard to be upset with what Ben Simmons does. I just have to hope that us as Nets fans are going to be, I don't want to say intelligent enough, but going to have a high enough basketball IQ to acknowledge it. So when we do the Ben 10 gag and say, oh, today, twist, twist, bop, he's on his rebounding tip, we can all be happy about that and not try to judge him for things that we don't need from him. I hope this video made sense. It might not have, but I tried. I'm going to take this off. It started hurting my wrist. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Yeah.